Peppercorn sauce is one of life's luxuries, usually served with steak or chicken. Today we're going to be making a pasta out of it. Super simple to make, incredibly cheap as well, and you can add things, remove things, make it your own, so let's jump straight in. Now for the prep, we're going to need 1 shallot or shallot. If they're smaller, I do recommend using 2. If they're large, just use 1. Slice off the tip, cut it in half and then peel it, same as you do with an onion. Make the thin slices across, do the horizontal slice if you like to do that, and then dice these into small, fine pieces, trimming off any excess flesh. Along with that, we're going to need 4 cloves of garlic. These have been run along a microplane to create a paste. You're going to get the best flavor out of the garlic doing it this way, but you can also slice them or chop them. That choice is all yours. For an optional ingredient, I'm using a little bit of curly parsley today. Use whatever you can find, flat leaf parsley, curly parsley, it doesn't really matter. Take off a little chunk, and then we're going to roughly chop this, just to make sure there's no large leaves or stems. Like I said, this is optional and it's going to be used as a garnish. Now the main ingredient is 2 teaspoons of black peppercorn and 1 tablespoon of green peppercorns drained of their brine. You don't need to wash them, that's completely fine. Place them into a mortar and pestle and then grind these up into a nice fine paste. These two mixed together create the perfect combination for a sauce. You can just use black peppercorns and you can just use green, but I do highly recommend trying both mixed together. What you should have is something that looks like this.
Now to start the cooking, we'll place a pot of water onto our stovetop and bring it to a boil. You can place on a lid to speed up the process, and then generously season it with salt, no need for ocean water though, and then add in about 250 grams or 8.8 ounces of a pasta of your choice. I'm using penne, and cook it for 1 minute less than the packet instructions. In the meantime, for our sauce, place a large pan over a medium-high heat, add in 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter along with that shallot or shallot, and a nice little pinch of salt, and then we're going to start sauteing this for about 3 to 4 minutes, mixing it around regularly. And I like to cook these a little bit longer than necessary to get that really nice nutty caramelized flavor, but you definitely can stop before that. At this stage, add in the grated garlic, chopped or sliced depending on what you chose to use. Break it up and mix it around. We're going to saute this for a further 1 minute to get that pan nice and fragrant. Deglaze the pan with 1/4 cup of brandy or cognac, and if you can't consume alcohol, you can use beef stock. And I am also adding in 1/4 cup of beef stock, so if you're not using alcohol, you can use half a cup of beef stock instead. Give this a good mix around, allowing it to pull up any stuck flavors from the bottom of the pan, and cook this for about 2 to 2.5 minutes until it's reduced. Pour in 200 milliliters of thickened cream, also known as heavy cream or whipping cream, and has a fat percentage of about 35%. Then add in the ground up peppercorns, a little bit of the parsley which is optional, and a pinch of salt, and then start mixing this around, and we're going to bring this up to a simmer, and when it is at a simmer, just reduce the heat to low and cook this for about 3 to 4 minutes until it's reduced and coats the back of a spoon. I'd usually cook this a little bit longer if I was serving it with a steak or a chicken, but because this is for pasta, I'm going to make it a little bit more runny. When the penne is cooked for 1 minute less than the packet instructions, it has that nice al dente bite. Strain it through a colander, and you can reserve a little bit of the pasta water if you like to do that, and then add that straight into the sauce. All we need to do now is mix everything together. We're going to cook this for a further 1 minute just to finish off that penne and get that sauce nicely coated all over. If you'd like to add the reserved water, you can do now, and just double check it for seasoning too. If you want it to be a little bit extra, you can also add some Parmesan cheese. This recipe happily serves 2 people and can easily be adjusted for more people, or just half the recipe if you wanted a single portion. For the finishing touches, I like to add some Parmesan cheese. The amount is completely up to you, as well as the curly parsley that we chopped up at the beginning, but you can definitely add basil here as well. And what that leaves us with is this quick and simple 15 to 20 minute creamy peppercorn pasta. It smells and looks incredible.
With everything said and done, there's only one thing left to do, and that is we can then dig in. That is brilliant on its own, even without the need to add any meat, but of course you can add some chicken or some steak, sear them off first and then bring them out of the pan and then cook all of this in those juices. Just adds even more flavor to the dish. This is absolutely incredible. It's sweet, it's rich, it's nutty, it's a little bit salty, perfect balance of all of them, and I highly recommend you try it.